There.
There we go.
Recording in progress. Okay. So here we are. It is March 9th, 2022. We're here to do another MAAT session. Tonight, we've got Darrell Mauger and Ted Hart joining us. They're going to play, I think, a few songs for us. Maybe one with vocals and an instrumental, and we'll, get some words of wisdom from them, I'm sure. Yes.
I'm sure, yes.
Okay. So my name is Margaret Mauger, and I'm a registered counseling therapist here at the After Trauma Empowerment Network in Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia. I am joined with Vida Woodworth, who is co-host and chairperson on our board of directors here at ATTEN. Kate Matthews is also joining us. You'll just see Kate's name and you will not see Kate. I just talked to her the other day and was trying to, what if we don't show your face? Will you come on and share some of this knowledge you have about the brain? Because she's so knowledgeable about the brain, and we'll get her on here one of these days, Vida. Yes.
Yeah, maybe we could have one of the puppets speak for her.
Yes, Kate, that's an idea.
Yeah. Probably isn't going to happen, but that's okay.
We'll keep trying. Yes.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, we are joined with Darrell Mauger and Ted Hart, and we'll get to them in a few moments. First, we need to do our diversity welcome, and then we'll do a check-in. And then I just want to talk about a workshop that I attended yesterday, just for a few minutes, and then we'll get to Darrell and Ted and have a great conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Leafs won last night.
Yay. Kate and I were just having a wonderful conversation about Montreal.
I know Montreal's doing great.
Yeah, it's
Quite a
one
shift.
of those. It's one of those things where you're kind of torn, because it'd be nice to have a good draft pick, but it's also nice to see them play well. So yeah, maybe we can get a little of both. Yeah. Either that, or if they win the cup, then that'll be all right too.
That'll be okay. Yeah.
It'll be the biggest comeback ever.
Okay, so we would like to welcome all women, men, transgender, and other identified individuals here today. We welcome everyone here who is a mother, father, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, son, daughter, grandmother, grandfather, parent, caregiver, sibling. We welcome. We welcome people of all races, tribes, and descents. We welcome victims, supporters, and those who support them, survivors, and those who support them. We welcome all people single, married, partnered, dating, celibate, or involved in whatever sort of relationship is right for you. We welcome gay, lesbian, bisexual, heterosexual, two-spirited, queer, asexual, polyamorous, demisexual, and others for whom none of those current labels fit. We welcome your emotions, your joy, bliss, rage, anger, contentment, frustration, happiness, peace. Welcome. We welcome everyone's special way of understanding and knowing the world, everyone's wisdom, whether it is education that has been learned in schools, colleges, universities, and/or the deep and profound school of life. We welcome those living with chronic medical conditions and disabilities, visible and invisible. We welcome mystics, seekers, and believers of all kinds. We welcome people who identify as activists, community leaders, group members, musicians, artists, hockey fans, and those who don't. And finally, we'd like to welcome the ancestors who lived in this land where we are now. Welcome the spirits of Mi'kmaq, the natives who lived in this area before the Europeans came. we'd like to acknowledge them and invite their spirit to this space. Everyone, welcome. And thank you for being here, for checking out our video. And like Brian told us, Vida, if you like this video, please subscribe, hit like, comment, and tell a friend.
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing
I think
good.
I got that.
Yeah.
And we extend our thanks and gratitude to the Mental Health Foundation of Nova Scotia for their funding and financial support for Project MAAT. We are always very grateful for their support and for the amazing work they do in regards to mental health in our province. Thank you. Okay, so Vida, let's do a check-in.
Okay.
How are you doing since our last MAAT session, which was very intense? It was interesting. It was full of mistakes and lots of learning. There was lots of
Yes.
learning last week. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, I took a couple of days to recover. But actually, it was kind of fun. I think I mentioned then that I thought we would have had that show way back at the beginning.
Yes.
But with some of the whoopses and the mistakes that we made and the giggles, and yeah. So, but this week has been good. It's I guess the same kinds of things are going on in the world as were happening last week. We have what's happening in the Ukraine and in other parts of the world, in Yemen and many countries around the world where there's conflict, Afghanistan and so on. And in our own country, we have lots of things that are impacting people. Mm-hmm. And so it's, I guess, unfortunately, on any given day, that there are lots of things that are happening. We also have the mass shooting inquiry is still going on. I think they were going to have proceedings on Monday and again today. Mm-hmm. And I didn't hear. I know there was a lot of debate about whether or not any of the police officers were going to actually be part of this proceedings. And I only heard a part of a news clip, so I won't say what, but I'm hoping, because it is part of the story, that there's some way that information will be part of the inquiry, so we can sort of look at it from all perspectives. And I know for people who have been following it, and for the people from the Portapic community, and even here locally where some of the shootings happened, this is another very difficult time. And for people following the inquiry and hearing some of the really graphic information, it's very difficult to hear. And, so as you and I have mentioned before, hopefully people are doing whatever it is they need to do to take care of themselves. It's pretty much impossible to hear information like that, whether it's in your own community or somewhere else in the world, and not be affected by it. And if you've been sort of following news like a lot of people do, it's an accumulation of things that can sort of build up, and one story may not have that big of an impact, but if you've been watching, a story after a story after a story, it can really sneak up in a way, and bam, all of a sudden it becomes overwhelming and starts to impact you in your daily life. And so hopefully, if people are finding that that's happening, you have some ways, whether it's talking to someone you trust, reaching out to even a professional, listening to music, doing art, doing some writing, getting out in nature. I heard the weather on the way here, and I think it's supposed to be nice tomorrow and Friday. So getting out is starting to get a little bit warmer, and doing some walking, watching birds. I think it's a little early for fishing yet, but do those kinds of things that you do that sort of feed your soul, that help you get grounded again, because it is pretty difficult to hear those things and to think about it. So anyway, I would really encourage people, and if you really don't know, always feel free to contact the After Trauma Empowerment Network and reach out that way. And there isn't, for people who can't afford those kinds of services, our services are free. So it's we try and make it as easy for people to access services, and we try and get rid of as many barriers as we can.
Yeah.
And the big thing, and one of the big things, I guess, is the cost of gas. Every time we go to bed, we wake up and it's a different price.
What is it today? I don't know if I know what the price was today.
I didn't look. It was $1.86 yesterday, and I think it went up again, but I'm not sure. They're saying it'll probably keep going until at least reaches $2, and that's for regular gas. And I know diesel's already at $2 and something. And the better the gas, the more expensive. So it's for people who drive for a living. It must be very difficult, and even just for people who have to drive to go to work.
Yes.
You're going to have 20 jobs just to pay for your gas.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And then the food, the price of food in the past few months has I couldn't believe how much a head of lettuce cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, how are these families that are barely getting by, and then the gas spikes up, and then you've got milk and bread, just your basics. And a lot of people have to do a lot of cutting, and there isn't a lot left for a lot of people to cut.
No. And if you were looking at trying to be healthy in your diet, unfortunately, the foods that we see as being the healthiest often are the most expensive. So if you've got even just one person to feed, and if you have more than one, you have another person, or 4 or 5 or 6. And if it's, somebody like a child who's growing and needs lots of food, I don't know how families, whether those are low income families or just people that are working, you need to take a lot of the percentage of your income just to pay for gas and food, and then rent or mortgage payments and so on. So the stress is all around. So I think we're going to need to play lots of music and walk a lot and do lots of things to keep ourselves mentally healthy anyway, or as healthy as we can. So I can't think of anything too exciting. I also attended the workshop yesterday, but I'm going to let you share about that.
Yeah,
and
it was a great workshop.
I'll just share that I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to next week. We're having another one. It's the same one, only with a different group of people, and people, I won't say how old, but just a different age group. And my mother's in that age range and is hoping to attend. So I warned Emma, who is the facilitator, that it might be a bit feistier than the group was this week. So she's hopefully as prepared as she can be. And but no, I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to helping and being part of the one coming up this week.
Yeah.
So I think I'll stop, because I can't think of anything earth-shattering or exciting to share.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need earth-shattering.
No,
pressure.
Sometimes that's nice. Yeah.
I want to grab my my Hart from yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Just so I can show it.
There you go.
It was a little stuck up on my whiteboard. Yes.
I've got my foot caught here. I'll move it.
Maybe for one of these sessions, I'll turn the computer around and I'll do a whiteboard session.
Yes.
and we'll whiteboard some stuff, because once you get going and you can fill it up pretty quick, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's whiteboards are fun.
So the workshop that Vida and I attended, and probably a handful of other people, was on self-love and compassion through the practice of letter writing. And Emma, who's the counseling intern here at Attend right now, she was the facilitator, the organizer. She put all the materials together and planned the workshop and then delivered it. And something that I had never been exposed to or learned about, that she introduced me to and everyone else there, was this idea of self-compassion, having tender self-compassion and fierce self-compassion.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that language. And tender, and I think both of those types of self-compassion would be difficult for some people to practice, to allow themselves, because and I keep looking at the form I have over here, because I'm just learning about tender and fierce self-compassion. So in a moment of pain or suffering, being able to accept yourself rather than reject or hard ass or put down yourself in those moments, being able to accept that maybe you are having a moment of suffering, and to allow yourself that space, even though suffering is not something pleasant to experience for anybody, hence the name suffering. Being able to have an awareness and an acceptance of it helps to reduce the weight of what you're carrying in that moment. And it's a way to validate yourself as well. And I know a lot of clients that I've worked with over the years of me doing this kind of work, they find it incredibly difficult to be compassionate with themselves. So used to just the pattern of putting themselves down and no, I can't do that, and I'm stupid, or I'm an idiot, or
I'm not good enough.
Yeah. I'm not smart, capable,
or deserving.
That's a big one.
I don't deserve it. Yeah.
So that's the idea of, and I'm trying to remember her name. There it is. Christian Neff is the doctor who came up with these terms. So I want to make sure she gets her credit. And with fierce self-compassion, it's when we take action to help alleviate the suffering we're experiencing. So we may do something, write a letter, sign a petition, go for a run, go out and garden, maybe talk to someone, like taking an action to help alleviate the suffering, because as the Buddhist practice says, suffering is inevitable. If you're a human being on this planet, there will be suffering. And I want to learn more about this fierce self-compassion and tender, and start sharing that more with clients, because I think it's powerful stuff. And I wish I had Emma did a guided meditation with us, that kind of, you had to hold yourself in that spot of suffering for a moment, and it was beautiful. I might have to borrow that script, and maybe we'll do it on the show. But that's kind of all I really wanted to share about that new learning for me. Learning every day.
And it was nice to be, it wasn't a large group, but there was 6 or 7 or 8 of us in the room, and people participated and shared, and that's kind of, as Emma told us, it's what it makes the workshop work, I guess, for lack of a better term. And
Yeah.
it was really nice. It happened almost right away. I hadn't met several of the people in the room before. And, it's nice when you can come in, sit down and know, that it's a place where if you share something, it's going to be respected.
Mhm.
And yeah, and that helps because then everybody participates in the learning and
Yeah.
also the teaching or the facilitating. So,
Yeah.
and the writing the letter was fun. I haven't handwritten something for a while. We were so used to typing everything on a computer. And I also enjoyed the craft part of it,
Yes.
or the hands-on making that Leanna shared with us. Leanna worked with
Yes.
Emma. They kind of co-facilitated. And you have yours there.
There's mine, and it's leather, and then the birch bark, and then you sew, I forget the name of that particular.
Oh, it's a sinew,
Okay.
artificial sinew.
And then
And
you put your leather on there, and it's a necklace. And that's
yeah, and
the
that,
very amazing Leanna McLeod brought those supplies and donated her time and her talent and her heart to
yeah,
our workshop. Yes.
yeah. And as with a lot of indigenous crafts, it's all, from nature. Um, the birch
Mm.
bark and the leather and the sinew and everything. So it was nice to do that. And we had sort of a little takeaway reminder. And her and Emma both encouraged us if we wanted to write something on the back, that a word or even like a sentence or something that
Mhm.
would remind us to be tender with ourselves, and that it's okay sometimes to take care of ourselves, and it's not selfish when we do that, because a lot of times we're so busy helping other people, we neglect ourselves. And then the reality is when we neglect ourselves, we're less prepared to help others. So if you want to kind of look at it that way,
Yeah.
the better you look after yourself, the more people or the better you can help someone. So yeah, it's a good reminder. So I haven't thought of what I'm going to put on the back of mine yet,
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
but I'll think of something.
I know you
And
will.
yeah, anyway, um, I'm looking forward, as I mentioned, to doing it next
To
week.
next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the learning that will happen then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Okay, so I think we'll probably move on over to have a chat and hear what Darrell and Ted have been up to, what's, new and exciting in their world, and hear a couple of tunes.
okay,
Yeah,
that sounds good. So are you actually moving over?
I could move over.
I just wondered, am I supposed to stay where I am, or do I?
Now, Kate needs to unmute. Are you unmuted?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Oh, there they are.
Awesome, awesome. Well,
Well,
first of all,
I'll stay here. Yeah.
okay. I think I can stay here too. We
Yeah.
could just go in the boardroom though, and we could have a big jam back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I wouldn't want to make them feel bad if I kind of took over, and, played too much or sang. Anyway.
Oh, thank you, Ted and Darrell, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Just, I guess we'll do a check-in with you and just see if there's anything, besides the Leafs winning last night, if there's anything that you want to share or say, any big news or
No big
exciting stuff.
news. Just thank you for doing what you do, and thank you for having us on. Sharing music and art with people is very, the name of the game here is therapy, I think, and I think it's very helpful to people and their state of mind and general well-being.
Mm.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How about you,
And
Ted? Oh, sorry, dear.
well, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep going there, but Vida's comment about taking over the jam. Vida has just started learning some guitar and is doing very well. She's a fast learner. And that was something I guess I wanted to say to people too, is we both got into music because we grew up, I'm not sure what all led Ted to pick up a guitar, but with me, it was started way back from being a little kid in Cape Breton, going to kitchen parties and really enjoying the family and friends playing music and playing songs and having a good time. And then when I became a teenager and hair got a little longer and I was a little more into rock and roll, and then I started seeing the whole thing as kind of cool, and started getting into it and learning. And then you start being able to join in with the people that you're enjoying so much, listening to, and being the audience of. You get to partake, and there's a camaraderie there. There's the enjoyment of doing it. There's the accomplishment of depending on how far you want to take things. There's all kinds of levels a person could be at. There's beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and everything in between. And it's very enjoyable. And I hope Vida sticks with it, and maybe one of these days we will be rocking out on the MAAT session.
You never know. I'm going to keep trying.
But the thing about learning, though, is I do encourage anyone that's interested in learning to do it. It's rewarding. It's a lot of work at first, but like I say, you get to share it with people when you do it. You get to share it with people when you play with them, and it's good when you're feeling good. It's good when you're feeling bad. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, Ted, I have to say, I haven't seen you, I don't think, since you were like 7 or 8 years old.
I was just telling Darrell, yeah, it's been a while.
A long time.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, you probably turned to music for no other reason. You have 2 older sisters.
Yeah.
And for those people who don't know, Ted and I are cousins. And when he was young, he was the youngest. You're the youngest, aren't you? Or
I'm the youngest, yeah.
Yeah. And his mom used to bring him and his 2 sisters to visit my mom and my sister. And so he was kind of outnumbered by the girls in the family. So if nothing else, I probably would have grabbed a guitar and ran too. Because I think all of us could be pretty bossy when we wanted to be. So, but it's nice to see you and nice to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's nice seeing you too.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward. I'll stop talking now and let you guys talk. So, yeah.
Perfect. No, I just like Darrell, just teenager, liked loud music, and picked up a guitar, and no virtuoso or anything like that. But if you're having a bad day or anything, good day, whatever kind of day you're having, you can pick up a guitar and strum a chord or strum a tune, and it kind of lets you forget about what's going bad or good. And you're like, if it's bad, you'll forget about it. If it's something good, then it just magnifies it. So
yeah,
music is a great tool to help alleviate some of the pain you're having, or if you're happy, it'll magnify it. So
yeah,
Good words. The question popped into my mind. I'm just wondering what was the first song that you learned when you started learning guitar?
I think I know mine.
I think I heard mine today, actually. Seek and Destroy by Metallica.
The first one?
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Search
Mine's,
it.
I'm a rocker, I'm a roller by AC/DC.
Rock, yeah, that's a good one.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I prejudged and I would have thought Ted's would have been an AC/DC song.
Yeah. No, it
It was
was
Metallica.
Destroy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
a
then
lot.
it's
That's a
branched
few
off
years
to a
ago.
lot of different areas.
Oh,
since
yeah.
then.
Yeah, so what are you studying right now, Darrell?
Studying.
Yeah. What were you telling me about last night? Well, I'm thinking
Scales.
triads.
Arpeggios,
Triads,
triads.
yeah.
Yes.
Which are all, for anyone that doesn't know, that's the building blocks of some stuff. And mostly in my case, it's trying to understand what can be played over different chord progressions and what will help me to become a better lead guitar player doing the solo stuff over rhythm work. And that's why I said earlier that there's different levels. I'm not saying I'm on a different level. I'm just saying that there's we brought acoustic guitars with us, but we both referenced loud music and rock and stuff. And the building blocks of each are the same. So if you do like something just like, that's, someone who hears that might think, okay, that's Aerosmith. But here I am doing it on acoustic, and things fit on any guitar. With an electric guitar, you can make it sound a lot different, turn it a lot louder, get overdrive, and something like an E chord has your word ferocious.
Self-compassion, fierce
And
self-compassion.
fierce,
Yeah.
fierce.
Yeah.
You can make this lovely acoustic guitar sound fierce or ferocious when it's plugged in, cranked up loud, and the speakers are breaking up, and you're getting some overdrive, and then you would treat it a little different way. You would mind your volume and you know, that's the rocking out part, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have something that you want to play right now?
We will, and I think what we're gonna do is
That would be a phone ring.
it is.
Oh, okay.
That's
thinking
okay,
how-
Vida.
How's he playing the guitar without moving his hands?
We're just that good, Vida.
Oh,
Look, mine, no hands.
who knew? Yeah.
That was great.
So if the YouTube gods allow, we'll maybe try some stuff that has a song or some lyrics, and maybe we'll do something that's just instrumental too. So just in case we can't put
Okay.
something up, then we'll have options.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Confuse me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the new microphone works well, works great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
It picks the
Yeti.
sound up. Yes.
Now we'll go after some support from Yeti.
Yes. Sponsorship.
Yes.
Yes, that's a blues tune, both into blues as well. We like a lot of different kinds of stuff. I like that sort of thing for the lead work I can do on it. Because it's where I study things the most, I guess. So if we were to pull out a Metallica song, I probably wouldn't be doing the lead, because that's one of those levels I was talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, not quite there yet, but yeah. So it's always a work in progress. It's one of those things you start, and
You'll never stop.
as far as you want to go, it's limitless, I guess. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I hear you there. I
Yeah.
know. It's kind of like philosophy. There's just can't stop.
No,
It's
and
never-
even,
No end.
even the professionals that play, I hear a lot of stories that they don't put their guitars down. They
No.
eat, sleep, and breathe their guitar. So I mean, you can be at a top tier level, and still there's levels above you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
yeah, you could have two advanced professionals sitting beside each other, and one will be like, "What was that you just did?"
Yeah,
Because they've got some of their own stuff, but they want that stuff too. And
Yeah.
that's the camaraderie, sharing part and everything.
And something else I've learned too from you mainly is even though a guitar is a piece of wood and 6 strings, they're so different.
Yes, yeah,
Like, wow.
yeah. There was I don't think it was the show. I think it was a group. There was one night I brought electric, I brought an amp, I brought effects, and I was just doing a little demo for people on the different kinds of sounds, the different things you could do.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, because you could have like your guitar, Vida. You take Vida has an electric. She has a Les Paul.
oh, really?
And,
Awesome.
And me and Ted both are Les Paul fans. We both have one. And but you could use that guitar to play country and western, both kinds,
Mhm.
country and western. And you could play blues. You could play rock, pop music. You could be heavy metal, dark metal. You play classical music. You play anything. Like it's when you hear the different sounds coming from different electric guitars, they're usually choosing that sound. And they want the big raunchy sound, or they want a light, pretty sound. They're very, what's the word for that? They're very
Versatile.
They're super versatile. Yeah, you can do a lot of different stuff.
Mm.
Even stripped down with acoustic, you could have a blues player in here doing all kinds of blues stuff, and then somebody else with another different genre of music come in and have the same guitar, make it sound totally different.
Hand your guitar to the person that plays classical, or to the person that plays heavy metal, and
It's
kind of comes from the same place.
Yeah, it is quite incredible, really.
It's for me, it's almost addictive too, because I'm a type of person that wants to know how these things are done. Like I just said, if I hear Ted do something cool, I'm gonna turn and, how'd you do that, man? Like, what was that? You gotta show me that. And it's cool. So would you like to hear another one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are we going back and forth, or are we staying here and doing a few, or
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't need that.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
It's Leanne's fave.
Yes, she said.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the volume button on the microphone, not the microphone, yes, the microphone. Because I noticed the volume was a bit lower on this one than before. So it's a learning process, but thank you.
Yep, no, yep, you just gotta turn that, but you get it to that.
See,
I like
this
it.
is the first time we've used it, so I have no idea.
Does it
I have
sound
no
okay?
idea.
We don't have monitors on, so I can't tell.
Yeah.
No.
Can you hear us all right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sounds good to me. So,
Yeah.
Well, then it sounds good to me.
yep.
Oh, well, of course, it sounds very good. Yes. Okay. Do you have another one that you want to go right into?
Yeah, we'll do, maybe we'll do just something a little bit instrumental without singing, just in case we have any trouble with our uploads. Sure.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
For both of you, I guess, did you both sort of teach yourselves or did you take lessons?
Both.
Both, yeah.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay. No?
When I first started, my lessons were just from somebody in my hometown.
Mhm.
And, it was enough to get me started, and I quickly started to learn how to pick things up by ear on a basic level.
Mhm.
I could pull out the chords from a song and teach myself a song and pick up some different guitar things. And then, like I say, over the years, it's been a work in progress. So there's been I don't know about naming names, but Bruce Noble was a big help in my life. He was
Mhm.
I played a lot. I learned a lot before I met him, and I was doing fairly well, but it was still a game changer. It was my understanding started getting a lot better, and nowadays with YouTube, I'm becoming a YouTube addict. I
Yes. Yeah.
have to pull myself away from it.
Mhm.
What about you, Ted? Did you?
I'm the same boat as him. Bruce, I found him, I don't even know how I found him, but I picked lessons from him. And then I was always playing by myself, and I was looking for somebody to jam with. So I got Bruce to set up a little jam session. And there was me and Darrell, and I think Donald Chisholm was there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I can't remember.
We ended up practicing together, learning stuff together. And then we started performing together. We started going out and doing stuff, and like your coffee house kind of thing, and the acoustic thing. And,
Yeah.
and that's a bug you get too. Once you do that and it goes well, you want more.
Yeah.
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 Yes, you guys will be glad that COVID hopefully is winding down enough that we can get out and socialize a bit more.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have a
If you wanna
jam
go
at
to
the
a
host.
coffee shop or a little hole in the wall and just listen to some people play music.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing like live music.
There's not.
No. Yeah.
There's one instructor I really like. I was watching something he said the other day, and he said it had been so long he had gone to a rock show, and he said it was just fantastic. He said the arena was full, everyone was standing, the arms in the air, you couldn't hear the person next to you, you couldn't have a conversation because everything was so loud and people were just excited and having fun. And even myself, I think, like, man, it's been a long time since
Been a long time for me.
had something like that.
Yeah. 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 That was one thing I am learning to play the guitar, but I have at a fairly young age attended like concerts, and I saw Rita McNeil in Truro for $1.50
Oh, wow.
at the engine room, and Katie Lang at the ball field in Kentville for $1.50. And
Wow.
then since then I've even seen Madonna and some pretty big name people, but they're all, listening to you guys is just as good as going to a big concert. Like live music is just beautiful. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's hopefully one day I'll be able to play a little myself.
Well, you can now.
Yeah, well,
You can play your G chord, Vida.
I can play the G chord. Yes, I can.
A very good place to start.
That's right.
Um,
What do you want to do?
just, what do you think?
A minor, A, C, and D.
Yeah, okay. We'll do something.
Or let's do A, D, and E, then we can do major, minor over top of it.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Nice, nice. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wanting to come in and play the harmonica, and I've got a shaker here.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
got the rain stick and the cajon back there.
yeah, that's like I was saying, it's one of those things that the more the merrier.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the jam sessions where, you know, there's jam sessions where we're playing these guitars. There's people there with accordions, fiddles.
Mhm.
We've got the flute. There's people that'll play piano, drummers, percussionists, people that just want to join in, and we'll use shakers, bells. If it'll make sound, it can work.
Yep.
And
The spoons.
It's all welcome.
Yeah.
I know.
A lot of the time at those jams, I like to sit back and observe what everybody else is doing. And oftentimes you'll pick up some little tidbit that somebody else is doing that you can fit into your own routine. And everybody's saying, why don't you play? Why don't you play? It's like, I just like watching. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I can confirm that. Yes, Ted does do that at jams.
Yeah.
Well, we're after 7 o'clock already.
Already?
Already. I know.
Yeah. It just reminds me of when I grew up too, like Darrell, my mom was from Cape Breton, so we would spend quite a bit of time in Cape Breton, and usually a fiddle would be there, and maybe a guitar and lots of singing. And I remember when I was growing up, my parents would always, you know, there was always a dance once or twice a month. And I guess I just used to think of those kinds of things as mostly just social things you did. And but now when I think about it, you know, it's the kind of thing, those were the ways that people looked after themselves. And, you know, they socialized and got to see their friends and family and stuff, and got to get up and dance and have some fun.
Yeah.
And maybe a few beverages. But how important those things were in the community, because they were tools that people used to kind of unload that stress.
Yes.
And you know, it's funny, you know, it was just something that people did, and not really, I didn't really see its purpose as much. And now looking back, it probably was, and it was very important for everyone to go to those things, the same as you guys,
yeah.
and having jams and friends over and doing that kind of thing. And hopefully people will be able to get back to doing some of that stuff
Yeah.
soon.
I know.
Yeah.
When you mentioned the dances, I remember that as a child, not going to them, but I remember mom and dad every either Friday night or Saturday night, you know, it was almost a given that they'd be going to the dance. And of course, me and my brothers would turn on Atlantic Grand Prix wrestling and put the hurt on each other. But the further back you go, the more that stuff was live and the music was live.
yeah.
Yes.
It's nowadays, there are shows, there's some dances. I would love to see more of that. Just
Yes.
like I was encouraging people that are interested in getting into music or learning an instrument, how much it can bring to your life. I would encourage people as well to go see live music. And
Yes.
Absolutely.
if I had my choice of going to a place that was going to be just playing some music over the PA, or if I had a choice of going and seeing a local band play something, I'd pick the local band in a minute. I'd love to see the live and hear the live stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah. Yeah. The other place you really notice it is, I know in long-term care facilities, and even some of the units in hospitals, where they're able to have someone come in and maybe play the piano or play guitar, and how people's faces light up and their toes start to tap and their hands clap and the singing starts to happen, and how
It wouldn't
I
be the
guess
same if
joy.
they walked in and offered to play them a song
Yeah.
on the radio.
No,
No.
Someone
no.
going in and performing a little something for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very real, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, that's a very nice gift. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I think when you look at different kinds of dementia, often people who maybe whose memories are fading, it's the music and the singing that still is accessible to them. And often when we're young, we learn songs. So when you're it's so far back in someone's memory that even someone who may not remember a person's name will still remember all the words to a song that they learned when they were younger.
Yeah.
And how I guess how much joy comes on their faces when because it's so familiar, and it's such a wonderful thing when people do go to places like that and play music and sing. And yeah, you're right, Darrell. It's not the same when you turn on the radio.
Yeah.
It helps,
Stories of
but
people
Yeah.
in care facilities who would be in very serious shape,
mhm,
and they're in a place, they're maybe they're even in palliative care or something, and
mhm,
I've heard about them hearing like you take someone that's a senior, and they're in that kind of a position, and somebody plays some of their music that they knew from years ago, that they grew up loving, and the response that will come out of that person and the life that
yeah,
will come back into them is incredible.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yes. It's amazing. So it's most certainly music and singing is not just something to do. It most certainly has a
No.
purpose, and it's important.
There's a lot of research out there now about the power of music in our brain, like how it can
Yeah.
actually change our brain,
Yeah, yeah,
the chemicals, and it's just, I have a big long list somewheres in one of my piles of papers.
of all the positive things it does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you, Darrell and Ted, and sorry I haven't seen you since you were 6 or 7. You'd think we lived on opposite sides of the world, but we
Yeah.
only lived probably 10 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
I guess life gets busy, so,
Yeah.
but
Does it
it's
ever?
yeah, it was exciting when I heard that the Ted that Darrell likes to jam with was actually the Ted I knew. And
Yeah.
so anyway, thank you both for coming
Yes.
and being on the show.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Definitely, definitely. And I have a feeling you'll be back someday.
yes. And maybe
I know where to find you.
I'll have time to jam with you then.
Yes.
Yeah,
Look forward to it.
in the key of G.
Perfect.
Okay, so I think we're gonna sign off. I don't know if I'll do the loving kindness meditation, Vida. What do you think?
I think we're good again. It was pretty nice,
kinda
and
have-
the music was nice, and
I know, I kind of have
grounding
that in my head, and I think I'd
Yeah.
like to just leave that last piece that Darrell and Ted played. I'd like to just leave that kind of floating
Yeah.
in my head.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that sounds great.
So we'll be back next week, though.
Yes.
And I need to confirm, but I'm pretty sure Brett Lively is going to be coming and sharing. I don't know if he's going to play live, but I do have some of his tracks that I'm going to play.
Okay,
Really,
great.
Cool, funky, electro kind of stuff. I
Great.
don't think we've had anyone on here doing that stuff yet.
No.
No?
Well, you never know. I did take several dance courses when I went to college, and
Oh,
perhaps some
okay.
night I could do a creative dance for someone. You never know.
You can do creative
Pretty-
dance, and you can do accents. Like
Yes.
you're always pulling off these great accents, Vida.
These hidden talents that I
Yes.
have. Yes. So maybe we could do like a big concert with everyone who's been on the show, and we can include the dancing and the
Oh,
music and
wouldn't
the
that be so
singing.
cool?
And the art. Yeah,
Yes.
a grand finale.
Maybe we could do it in, you know, maybe the summer, once things are hopefully settled down a little bit more and we'll be well out of a state of emergency anymore, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
okay,
something to look forward to.
yes.
Yeah,
Thank you again, you guys,
yeah.
for coming and hanging out and donating your time and your talent.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not going to do our loving kindness meditation tonight. We will be back next week.
Okay.
And on, as I always say, take really good care of yourself. Take really good care of each other and be well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.